Hello and welcome back to A Year of Miracles. We have a new theme today. The theme is what is a miracle? Or what is a miracle, number 13. And it says a miracle is simply a correction. So that's what it's a course in miracles, right? We've been talking about miracles. We've been talking about nothing has meaning but the meaning that we give it. We've been talking about perception. And a miracle is simply a correction in perception, a correction in how we actually see the world. You may have heard that all creation is already done. And it says that a miracle isn't actually about a creation because it's already done. It just reveals what is true. And what is true is that you already are whole. You already are abundance. You already are love. You already are peace. You already are safety. You already are security. You already are joy. And so once it's the way that like Sammy and I have used many analogies across this year, across these lessons. So we can take those analogies and we can see how, so I was going to say one way I would describe it is like the sun and the clouds dissolving. It's like clearing the clouds. That's the correction, clearing the clouds that's standing between reality and the sun, or apparent reality and the sun. Or I talked about the smoky mirror. So it's like the smoke from the mirror clears away, the distortion clears away. Sammy and I have used the analogy of the golden Buddha. It's the clearing of all that dirt and grime and stuff that was crusted on the golden Buddha. The Buddha never changed, the sun never changed, the mirror never changed. It was always there, it's always been there. Nothing is being created. Miracles were already available, they were already there, but you couldn't see them because of this this layer of meaning and perception that you've placed over it. And that was based in ego stories of fear and grievances. Yeah, fear and grievances. That's what it comes down to. And even grievances are based on fear. And so, through the work that we've been doing and through forgiveness, especially, that is the path to clearing that. That is the path to dissolving that false way of seeing the world and seeing yourself and seeing others. So that way you can see the sun, the clear mirror, the golden Buddha. So that way you can see the truth. So that way you can see the love, the joy, the peace, the abundance, the wholeness, the health, all of that. And it appears to be a miracle because you were so deep in the false stories, you were so deep in the negative stories that it can switch just that fast. And once it switches just that fast, once that's cleared, it can appear like a miracle. I have a personal experience with this where I had a health issue that was a very, very serious health issue. And I was kind of in this space of where the doctors had found some concerning things. I was in pain, so I knew that like something was going on. I don't want to give too much details, but I was kind of in this in-between space. I called it, like Schrodinger's cat is this um thought experiment that was done by a physicist, by a quantum physicist, I think. And I'm not going to go into it really, but it's this idea that something can be superimposed, meaning that it exists in two states at once until the observer comes in. So Schrodinger's cat in that thought experiment existed as both alive and dead within this box until the observer would come in and look at it, and then it would either collapse time into I feel like I'm going way off topic, but that's how I saw it, into dead or alive. So I felt like my health issue was kind of in this like superimposed state where anything could be anything because the test results hadn't come back. I did blood work, I did like three ultrasounds, I did x-rays, I did like all the tests, and they were I was getting the tests the next day, and um and I was kind of in this space where it's like nobody's seen the results of the test. So it's kind of like Schrodinger's cat. It could be the thing that I fear that it is, or it could be nothing, or somewhere in between. It's this now the future is like a wave of infinite possibilities. And so I noticed that I was in fear. I was seeing fear. I was seeing grievances. And so at the time I was using EFT tapping a lot, so did use EFT tapping for this as a tool, and I just tapped through all that. And until I felt great, after doing that session, I felt love and gratitude. And it wasn't just, I was no longer resisting the result that I didn't want to see. I was kind of like, I'm going to be okay, even if that's the result. But I was in love and gratitude. I was saying that it's okay. Everything's fine. Everything's beautiful. I am whole. I am, and it wasn't like I see myself as healed in a resistance form. It was kind of like whatever happens, I'm still in love and still in gratitude. The next day, I went and got my test results, and it was nothing. The doctors were baffled. They were like, I remember like she brought in like other people. They were trying to figure out like, and of course, because sometimes reality has to like fill in the in between and like come up with an explanation. So then it ended up being this really weird, rare thing of like something to do with like just a bone being out of place. Like totally random, nothing life-threatening, like totally something like I could live with for the rest of my life. And guess what? The pain went away after that too. The pain went away. And so that, and I have other stories of miracles, but that's kind of the big one where it was like in that moment, I cleared the fog. I cleared the clouds of fear and grievances, and I allowed myself, without insisting on the outcome, I I allowed myself to be in the truth of love, to be in the truth of forgiveness, to be in the truth of gratitude. And the reality completely shifted in a way that left the doctors completely baffled. Um, and that's one of my miracle stories. So, as you can see, miracles are available to us at some just because of how deep in like distortion we've been. Sometimes it appears miraculous when it's really always been there. It's really always been our natural state. We've always been whole. We've always been perfect. We've always been loved. We've always been abundance and wealth. We've always been all those things already. And it's just a matter of dissolving the distortion. It's just simply a correction. So miracles looks at devastation and says, this is not real. It undoes fear's illusions. Miracles, it says, stays within perception, working inside the framework of time to prepare you for timelessness. So like I said, reality sometimes fills in time. So it appears that something happens. It appears that, there was an in between, but really it was just a clearing and seeing the truth behind everything, seeing your limitless nature, seeing your timeless nature. You can never die. Even if something does happen to the body, you can never die. We talked about that. Um, it says every miracle carries grace. A miracle flips perception upright, ending distortions, opening the mind to truth. Forgiveness is the place where miracles live because forgiveness clears the lens through which truth can be seen. Again, we use all these analogies. So you can see it like a camera lens. It clears the camera lens. So you see things as they are, not as the ego has made them to be. When you see things through the eyes of Christ, which we talked about, it delivers miracles, transforming curses into blessings. And each act of forgiveness creates a miracle. Each act of forgiveness that we do creates a miracle. Are you still holding back from the practice of forgiveness? Because this whole course is about forgiveness. And you may not be aware of what miracle for each act of forgiveness is creating, but I guarantee you there's a miracle underneath that act of forgiveness. I've experienced it. I'm referring to other things now. I could talk for hours if you want to talk about all the miracles that have been perceived here, but that's the one I like. I love sharing because it really, like I said, the doctors were baffled. But I've experienced miracles with people from the act of forgiveness. Um, yeah, miracles reveal a redeemed world. They begin with faith. Miracles refresh the mind, and they show you that true life, what you truly are, your very isness, your very true nature can never die. Sammy?
You covered that so well. I'm like, everything that I was like, I'm gonna say, you said. But yeah, before even reading the theme, it said, "What is a miracle?" And I was like, "It's a shift in perception." Like, I know that now. I know that now. I know what a miracle is. Which is just in itself like so in I want to say rewarding, empowering, um rewarding because you get to experience them because you know what they are, and empowering because you realize that there is no quote unquote God that is here delivering miracles for you. It's actually you experiencing God as God that creates the miracle, right? Um, and it said earlier in the course, it's actually there's something wrong if you're not experiencing miracles, right? Like it should be part of our daily life that we experience miracles. Although saying that, if the miracles is a shift in perspective to align us with the truth of who we really are, then the only reason we should be experiencing miracles every day is because we veered so far away from the truth, right? So if you think you've got a lot of work to do, just think, actually, I've got a lot of miracles to receive. Because that's it. And, so many people want these big, glamorous, expansive, successful, like uh miracles to happen. But it's the things that happen in the moment that just for me have been the most powerful, right? So like I can be like, oh, I want to achieve all of this success. I don't perceive that to be a miracle. I perceive that that's going to happen as a result of the person that I've become. A miracle is in any single moment being able to shift your perspective and see it change in real time, no matter how big or small the experience or appearance changes, right? And I've had my 3D, my reflection crumble in real time as a result of a shift in perspective, right? And I said to Karina before we got on this call, I used to think perspective was just thoughts, like point of view on thoughts. Well, Karina thinks this about what a miracle is. I think this about what a miracle is. But it's not the thinker that creates it's not the thinker. It's not the thinking. It's the point of view where you're seeing it from, right? It's like think of like a camera angle. Think of like a camera like playing a movie. The perspective is the camera. What's going on with regards to the movie being played is as a result of the camera recording that perspective that placing itself in that place. Does that make sense? Right, the thoughts arise as a result of the perspective you have attained, as a result of the point of view you are viewing it from, right? And so that for me has been really enlightening because I was always trying to change the thoughts. It's not about changing the thoughts, it's about changing who's seeing or hearing the thoughts, right? um and so as a result of you being able to acknowledge that you are the vessel or the reason, if you like, the miracle occurs, means you're not looking outside of yourself for miracles. You're looking within yourself and recognizing, where can I shift this to see an instant miracle, right? And that's why I said it's empowering, because it gives you your power back. You're no longer going, give me a miracle. You're going, I'm the source of these miracles. I just need to shift my perspective and come back into alignment with the truth of who I really am, which is love, not fear. That's it from me on this one.
Okay, thank you, and we'll see you in the next lesson, in the lesson that's coming after this.